It starts with a lingering pause, a moment where a child's development begins to diverge from the expected rhythm. Perhaps they stop responding to their name or develop an intense, unbreakable need for routine. Families often live in a quiet, uncertain space during these early years. They feel a deep instinct that something is different, even while friends and neighbors offer well-meaning reassurances that the child will eventually catch up. The formal diagnosis of autism spectrum disorder is a sharp clinical reality. For many parents, it is a moment that forces an immediate reevaluation of their family's identity and everything they imagined for the future. This label provides a necessary answer to what is happening, but it often traps families in a terrifying new perspective. It suggests that the child is broken and that the parent's primary job is to figure out how to fix them. Historically, our society has relied on the medical deficit model. This framework views autism strictly as a checklist of problems, behaviors that are considered wrong, and milestones that are marked late. This diagram illustrates the medical model's focus. It prioritizes the clinical lens, looking for a diagnosis so that professionals can begin the work of correcting the individual until they fit a standard baseline. Because this view focuses so heavily on what is missing in a child, it fueled a devastating myth: the idea that autism was the result of cold parenting or environmental mistakes. Modern science has completely refuted this. We now know that autism is a complex neurodevelopmental difference present from the earliest stages of life. It is a biological reality, not a result of how a child was raised or loved. Viewing autism only as a deficit creates a cycle of unwarranted guilt for parents. It encourages them to spend their energy fighting against their child's fundamental nature instead of trying to understand it. The neurodiversity perspective offers a different way forward. It suggests that variations in the human brain are not abnormalities to be erased, but natural and valuable ways of experiencing the world. Think of left-handedness. For centuries, it was treated as a defect that had to be corrected. Today, we simply understand it as a different way of being wired. This visualization shows how an autistic brain physically connects information differently. Highly dense, over-connected pathways often lead to an extraordinary ability for deep focus or an intense sensitivity to sounds and lights. Meanwhile, underconnected pathways can make it more difficult to process rapid social cues. These unique wiring patterns begin to form before birth. They are part of a child's physical makeup long before any external behaviors are ever observed. Because this wiring is a biological reality, forcing an autistic mind to act normally ignores how that brain actually functions. It places an impossible burden on the individual. When we look through this neurological lens, behaviors that look like dysfunction from the outside reveal themselves as logical responses to an intense internal world. A child who avoids eye contact isn't lacking empathy. For many, a direct gaze is a source of overwhelming sensory input. Looking away is a necessary defense that allows them to continue processing what they hear. Repetitive motions and strict routines function as self-regulation strategies. They provide a neurological way to find stability and comfort in a world that often feels unpredictable and loud. Understanding the science behind these actions allows us to stop focusing on behavior correction and start responding with compassion for the experience underneath. Reaching a place of true acceptance is a gradual, non-linear process. Parents must navigate their own grief and fear before they can see their child's needs clearly. This diagram illustrates how an integrated approach changes the trajectory of intervention. While the medical model focuses on fixing what is wrong, the neurodiversity model emphasizes identity and inclusion. Speech and occupational therapies remain vital here, but the reason we use them changes. The intent is no longer to hide a child's autism so they appear normal. Instead, we use therapy to build communication and independence while respecting who they are. A diagnosis doesn't predict a child's limits. Instead, it provides the technical clarity needed to build personalized, intentional support that allows them to thrive on their own terms. True inclusion requires us to look past the individual. It requires a shift in how we build our entire society. For too long, the burden of adaptation has been placed entirely on autistic people. We have demanded that they adjust their fundamental nature to fit neurotypical environments. The next step is to redesign our world. Classrooms that respect sensory differences, workplaces that value diverse cognitive styles, and social expectations that embrace patience. We succeed by expanding the structure of our world until every kind of mind belongs, rather than demanding a child fit into a system that wasn't built for them.